morning and Happy New Year. My name is Tom Gretsch and I run the Queens Chamber of Commerce. It's been a very, very difficult 9 months, but I'm here to talk about the future and the great successes we're going to have, not only in Queens, but in our city and in our state and in our country. There's so many great things going on right now that we've got to be optimistic and we got to fight forward all the time. I put out a missive on New Year's Day of the 21 things to look forward to in 2021. If you haven't seen them, you can go to our website. But I am truly, truly optimistic, as I normally am, about some of the things that we're going to accomplish in the business world. And one of the things that we're very, very thankful for is the latest funding model from the US government for PPP. While it did not include the Restaurants Act of 2020, which we advocated for greatly, I am optimistic and I do look forward to the potential of that coming maybe sometime in February after the new administration takes over. We shall see. But in the meantime, we deal the hand that we're dealt, and that hand is numerous millions and millions of dollars going towards a small business community. Before I turn the program over to Jackie to make some introductions, I want to do a public service announcement in a very, very sincere way. During the worst part of this crisis in March, April, and May, there was a real challenge getting funding from the first one and then the second PPP as authorized by the federal government. And a lot of folks came down pretty heavy on the SBA. But I'm going to give you a couple of facts that might be something just to think about. They are dedicated public servants, appointed public servants, not elected officials that have done a tremendous amount of work. The one stat I'm going to leave you with is that during that period of time, they processed more applications in 14 days than they had in the previous 14 years. Just put that in perspective as we move forward. There's lots of challenges moving forward. I know the folks that run the organization, especially the New York City district office, so capably led by Beth Goldberg, the district director. We had on this program a few weeks ago with City Council member Eric Ulrich. And now we have the person that kind of delivers the goods day in and day out. And that is a person that you're probably familiar with. She is one of our hometown heroes. I'm very, very proud to know her. You should want to know her and thank her when you get a chance. And that's Man-Li Lin. So Man-Li, thank you very much for all you do, to you and your staff. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. And we want to hear from you today, not from me. But I just wanted to wish everybody a happy new year. If you've got any issues whatsoever about small business challenges, the Queens Chamber of Commerce has added people over the last 5 or 6 months to help you out in any way, shape, or form, whether it's city or state funding, including some things put out by the U.S. Small Business Administration. So without further ado, I'm going to give the microphone and the camera to one of our other unsung heroes, and that's Jackie Donato. I also want to give a shout out to Muhammad Amin, who works behind the scenes to make sure these things go flawlessly. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Mohammed. And the floor is all yours. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Tom, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jacqueline Donato, Queens Chamber of Commerce Strategic Program Manager, and Tom Gretsch, our President and Executive Director. He's very correct when he's in his opening remarks, and he's correct that we must be positive and truly optimistic for the 2021. Today, we are presenting PP loan updates, and we are very proud to work with Mrs. Man-Li Lin, Economic Development Specialist of the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, who is our keynote speaker today. Man-Li is going to have the presentation. She's going to share her PowerPoint presentation. She also is going to provide us a brief version of the presentation that we can share with all the participants. And also, we're going to open the Q&A, and feel free to make any questions that you may have for our speaker today. We are also broadcasting on Facebook Live, and we welcome all of you, and we welcome Man-Li.
Man-Li, you're muted.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to share my PowerPoint. So this PowerPoint actually will focus on the PPP forgiveness. So if you already got the first PPP, so this is right now is the time that actually should prepare for your PPP application, because PPP application forgiveness is not automatically. You have to submit your application. And I think by March 31st, actually, you should use up your money and your loan, first loan proceed, and also calculate those payments. For the second round of PPP, we have to be patient, wait for the final regulation. As soon as we get a message, actually next week, or I think, Queen's Chamber of Commerce and we will hold the next one, teach people actually how to apply for the second round, at PPP. So I think everybody can go to sba.gov. Actually, I'm watching that every day to see if any update information. And also New York District Office, actually, we have our own website. So include the programs that can help you, also the lender list, and also very important, if you need one-on-one counseling assistance, our 3 resource partner, SBDC School and Women Business Center, actually list on our resource guide. So SBA, we have different kind of financing. I know right now people know SBA have PPP idle, but actually we have other assistance. So I hope that you can utilize them. The second one, we provide education training and also one-on-one counseling through our resource partner. We help business to get government contracting, especially for minority, for women-owned business, for business in the hub zone. Can have certain percentage set aside for you. So I hope that in 2021, everybody can find opportunities to do business with the government. And of course, disaster assistance, we will continue. And right now we are focused on that. Advocacy actually help business. If you have suggestion to help SBA be a better agency to help you, you can contact our advocacy. So the first thing I want to talk about is the PPP and idle loan data released actually on December 1st last year. So you can check online. If you see the information is wrong, because we know some of the borrowers, actually their information was wrong, like loan amount or their company's name or address. So even the numbers of their tax ID. So you can go to this website to correct that. For idle, actually, right now, if you see the problem, the information is not correct, you can contact the customer service here. So the PPP, this is the overview of PPP loan. I think we will skip that because we look forward to the new one. The next 2 slides, very important. If any borrowers for the PPP received more than $2 million, actually, they will receive 2 forms, questionnaires. Okay, 3509 is for the for-profit borrowers. And then 3510 is for the nonprofit organizations. They will receive the questionnaires actually to provide information. So make sure that actually you will answer all the questions. I have a few slides here for you. That's the instruction. Okay, now we will talk about idle, economic injury disaster loan. Now extended, okay, the loan, the idle actually is extended to this year, December 31st. So that's 1 year. So I encourage everyone apply. For nonprofit organization, the interest rate is 2.75% and 3.75% for for-profit. The reason I ask everybody to apply because I think, only PPP only is not enough. So if you have the financial planning, you know that you still need money, you should apply anything that actually you're eligible right now. And the good things about EIDL is you don't have to accept it when you are approved. Maybe depends on the situation, you don't need the extra loan, then you don't have to accept it. And this one is 1 year deferment payment. So you don't have to repay after, until 1 year later. Okay. And it's 30-year terms. Of course, you can repay it earlier. Okay. So the EIDL actually is to cover your working capital, and normally like monthly you have operating expenses, so they will cover those. Okay, this is the website to apply, and after you are approved, actually they will send you an email, ask you to create a loan portal account. Then you can move the cursor to decide how much you want to accept. You accept it, you send back to the disaster center. They will send you all the documents that actually need your signature. That's how you will close your loan. So I know many borrowers receive a decline letter for EIDL. Actually, they if they need more information or document, they will send you an email. And if they didn't receive within 7 days, they will just send you the decline letter. So definitely you should request for reconsideration. And this is a list of the document that actually we suggest you to include in your request. I also offer you a cover sheet example. So this all the information actually you need to provide to them. And if you didn't get up to $150,000, you think actually you should, you can request for increase. This is a document that actually we suggest that you should submit with your request. Now we talk about the PPP Flexibility Act. June 5th actually is a very important day for the first PPP. A lot of changes. The first one is they changed the cover period from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So you can choose, you still can use 8 weeks if you receive your loan before June 5th. Otherwise, most business actually will change to 24 weeks. The second one is they lower the requirement. Before they say you have to use more than 75% for the payroll cost, then they reduce to 60%. So I think most of the borrowers, you can use the 60% of your loan within 24 weeks. So most of the borrowers actually will get 100% forgiveness. And then number 3 and 4, there are 2 safe harbors, because actually we know that actually a lot of borrowers, you don't need so many employees during the pandemic. So if you don't have so many employees because you comply with government's regulation, or you try to hire them back but were rejected, actually you are safe. So your forgiveness amount won't be affected. Number 5, before June 5th, actually, the maturity time was 2 years. After June 5th, actually, it's 5 years. But if you want to change from 2 years to 5 years, you can discuss with your lender. You have to get agreement from them. Number 6, this is a big change, the deferment period. Okay, so deferment actually originally was 6 months, now changed to 2 situations. Number 1, if you submit your forgiveness application to your lender, and your lender will submit to SBA, SBA will make the final decision and remit the loan forgiveness amount to your lender. Your lender will notify you. So that's the day that actually you will start repayment if there is any balance. The second situation, if the borrower does not apply for the loan forgiveness, then they have to start the repayment 10 months after the last date of the cover period. Okay, so I encourage you that count the best time for you. Right now, should prepare all the documents you need and then contact your lender. Later, we will tell you the procedure. Now, there is a new guide regarding the changes of owners on October 2nd. So if you have any situation, have the changes of owners, there are some situations actually you have to get SBA's approval because you still have to be responsible for the PPP loan. So I have links here for you, the website, they tell you what kind of situation you should get approval from SBA before the closing of any change of ownership transaction. Okay. Now we talk about the forgiveness information. They changed several times of the guidance. Before we go to the form, the application form, actually, there are some terms actually we have to be familiar with. The first one is covered payroll period. So the covered payroll period is start from the day that you receive your PPP loan from your lender. So you count 8 weeks or 24 weeks, depends on the time that you receive the loan. The second period of time we call alternative payroll cover period, but not everybody can use that one. Only if you have a biweekly or weekly payroll schedule, then you can line up with your payroll schedule. So it will be easier to calculate. So the first day of the alternative payroll cover period is the first day of your first pay cycle after you receive the loan. Okay. Now we talk about the cash compensation, because on the form actually calculation, actually you need to fill out each of your employees during your cover period, how much you pay them, how much was the cash compensation. So if you, for each of your individual employees, if you use 8 weeks for your cover period, it's capped at $15,385. If you use 24 weeks, then it's $46,154. If you are the owner employee or self-employed or general partner, if you use 8 weeks for your cover period, it's capped at $15,385. If you use 24 weeks, it's $20,833. Excludes the owner's employee. If you own less than 5% of a C corporation or S corporation, you are not limited to this amount. Okay, number 4, we will talk about FTE, full-time equivalent. So when we apply for a PPP loan, you just fill in the number of your employees, that's head count. But now we have to calculate, when you apply for the forgiveness, we have to calculate FTE. So officially, okay, so if any employees work for 40 hours per week, is full-time, so it's count 1. Anybody less than 40 hours, there are 2 methods that you can choose from. The number 1, you divide the hours by 40, then run up to the nearest 10th. So I have example here for you. If you have 3 employees work for 30, 35, and 40 hours, 30 hours divided by 40, you run up to 0.8 FTE. On the form, actually, calculation, you need to fill in each of the employees' FTE. That's why you have to calculate that. And then 35 divided by 40, run up to 0.9 FTE. So totally you will have 2.7 FTE. The second easiest way is, the employees work for 40 hours per week, you put 1, and then anybody else less than 40 hours, you count 0.5. So the same 3 employees, if you use these methods where you have 2 FTE, a lot of borrowers ask me which one is better. It depends on your situation, okay? How many full-time and how many part-time and how many hours they work. So my suggestion is you use both methods to calculate them and see which one is better for you. Now I already mentioned the safe harbor 1 and 2. So you should keep the documentation, okay? For the forgiveness application, actually, the documentation is most important. Any numbers, any of your claim, actually, you need to have documentation to support your claim. So you comply with government's regulation, or you try to hire them back or restore the reduction hours. Actually, you have to have the document to support you. You're safe if you have the document to prove that you don't need so many. So I have this slide actually to put everything, all the exceptions, all the exception that won't affect your forgiveness amount here. Okay, so any of your FTE, if less than your reference period of FTE, if you meet this situation, you don't have to worry about that. Will not reduce your forgiveness amount. So the first one is during your cover period, okay, 8 or 24 weeks. If any employees were fired for cause. Number 2, any employees voluntarily resigned. Number 3, any employees requested a reduction of their hours and you granted them. Number 4, you try to rehire employees back, or you want to restore any reduction hours, actually, but were rejected. So you need to have documents like your written offer, and then you have to keep documentation, which day they reply to you, what's the reason they don't want to come back. And also you have to report to the state, New York State Unemployment Agency within 30 days. The fifth one, actually, originally they say, as long as you rehire, you hire the same number of employees before December 31st, you are fine. But if you tried, okay, you try hard, but you cannot hire similarly qualified employees, you have to have the documents such as written records of your job offer, your recruiting records, your interviews, and some resumes. Now we talk about the payroll cost. So here I have all the lists, okay? All the compensations you pay to your employees can be counted, okay? So including the benefits. So I list here, so you should check. I think most of the borrowers will check with their accountant or your last year's the tax return. The good news is originally they say only if you paid during your cover period. Then later actually they change, okay, both paid or incurred during your cover period, actually, the payroll cost, you can count that. For example, the last week of your cover period, your workers already work for you, but actually you didn't pay them. You don't have to pay them at the same week. As long as you paid on or before the next regular payroll date, actually you can count those payroll in your forgiveness amount. The same thing for the non-payroll cost. So these are the 3 items that your mortgage obligations, your rent obligations, and utility payment. as long as you paid or incurred during your cover period, they can be counted. For example, your rent for March, you didn't pay it until April, and April was during your cover period. So you can count that actually in your non-payroll cost. On August 27, the new guidelines, this one I already mentioned. If you own less than 5% of a C corporation or S corporation, then your cap, the total of your compensation is not limited to the amount, the cap that we mentioned. Here are some examples, actually very important to count your rent. So if you rent an office building for $10,000 per month, but you sublease out, you get $2,500 per month, you can only claim $7,500 per month for the loan forgiveness. The example 2, if you have a mortgage on an office building that you own, you rent out 25%, so you only can claim forgiveness on the 75% of the mortgage interest. Example 3, if you share a rented space with another business, so you have to calculate the rent and utility payment actually according to your 2019 tax filing. Number 4, if you own a building, but you pay the rent to the holding company, to the real estate holding company, so you only can claim that portion of rent that does not exceed the monthly interest payment on the loan. Okay. The last one, if you have been a home-based business, okay, not just change after 2020. So you only can claim those expenses deductible on your 2019 tax filing. So it's not something new in 2020. Okay, so this is related to the holding company actually. So I already mentioned you can claim those not more than the mortgage pay. You can pay for forgiveness, but that holding company actually they cannot request for the forgiveness for that amount. So there are announcement actually in June and August. This is the page actually I prepared for you if you are an attorney, accountants, or business advisors. You help the PPP borrowers in different business structure. This is the list that actually you can see the calculation for the payroll compensation. August 11th, here they have some guidance that actually the calculation for the loan forgiveness amount is the responsibility of the borrower. So that's why it's very important. You should do the calculation and prepare to submit to your lender. So the procedures and the timeline is you will submit your application for forgiveness to your PPP lender, not to SBA. Then your lender will have 60 days to review and submit to SBA. Then SBA will have 90 days to make the final decision and then remit to your lender. Your lender will notify you. Okay. On the top, I also mentioned if any borrowers doesn't apply for the forgiveness, actually they have to start repayment 10 months from the last day of their cover period. So this is a procedure for appeal. Okay, I hope nobody needs that, but if you see that amount is not correct, you can appeal. Now we talk about the payroll cost questions. The first one, some of the borrowers actually have to calculate the payroll cost for partial pay period. I already mentioned there are two methods. One is payroll cover period. The other one is alternative. So if you pay twice a month or less frequently, actually your payroll, your payments actually cycle will be different from your cover period. So some of the week, especially the first week and the last week, actually you have to, you may have to calculate the partial pay period, count by the date, not by the week. Okay, but if you use alternative, actually they line up with your payroll cycle. So number 4, when you calculate the cash compensation, you use the gross amount, okay, before the deduction. Number 5, so the payroll cost, I already mentioned, including everything, every forms of cash compensation, including tips, commissions, bonuses, and hazard pay, but up to $100,000 as an annualized basis. And we already mentioned it's paid and incurred can be counted as your payroll cost. So there are some, this is some compensation that actually the owner compensation is more complicated. It depends on your business style. Okay, so I have slides here for you. C corporation, S corporation, you use Schedule C or Schedule F, you general partners, and LLC. So please find the one that actually best suit for your business structure. Now we talk about the non-payroll cost. So I already mentioned it's both incurred and paid during your cover period. But like number 2 questions, actually, for example, your health insurance actually only count those 8 weeks or 24 weeks. It's not the total amount that from 2019's tax return. Okay, and number 3, so the alternative payroll cover period only for calculate the payroll cost, not the non-payroll cost. Number 4, the interest on business mortgage on real or personal property actually can apply for the forgiveness, but not the interest on unsecured credit. Okay. Number 5, if you have a renewed lease or refinance mortgage loan, as long as they existed before February 15, 2020, that's okay. You can get the forgiveness. Number 6, actually, a lot of borrowers ask me this question: for what's the transportation utility? Actually, some areas, actually, such as San Francisco, they have to pay to the local government called transportation utility tax. But in New York, actually, we don't have that. So you cannot put down, your transportation, expenses for your employee. Number 7, electricity supplier charges actually is included too. Now we talk about the forgiveness reduction. For seasonal business, actually, you have to choose 12 executive weeks, actually, between May 1st, 2019 and September 15 as your calculation, your reference, and your cover period. Okay, so and calculate the FTE. So you can find the best one. Then now we will talk about a lot of business ask where if you reduce your employee's salary during the cover period, will affect your forgiveness amount. It depends. If you reduce any employee's salary or hourly wage more than 25%, actually will affect your forgiveness amount. So here I have some different situations. The first one, this will be calculated on page 4. Later we will see the form. So the first one, for example, you have employees actually got $52,000 per year before the pandemic, but actually right now it's reduced to $36,400 per year. Okay, then you have to calculate. So for the form, they have step 1, step 2, you just follow the instruction, but step 3 a little bit confused, so I would like to just explain that. So in step 3, so first you will calculate $52,000, 75% is $39,000. Means if you pay more than $35,000 per year, you have it's less than 25% reduction. Okay, but now actually the salary was reduced to $36,000 for $36,400. That's $2,600 more than 25% reduction, right? So you have to calculate. So please look at the last row of the formula. So $2,600 is for whole year. So you have to divide by 52, then times 8 or 24, depends on your choice. So you need that amount, $400 or $1,200 to fill in later you will see you have to fill in that numbers to calculate. The second example is if you have hourly employees, originally you pay $20, now you reduce to $15 per hour, that's exactly 25%. Okay, so you don't have to worry, it won't affect your forgiveness amount. But if you reduce from $20 per hour to $14 per hour, that's more than 25%. Is $1 more, okay, per hour. So you have to calculate $1 times, we pretend that person worked for 10 hours per week, you times 10, and then you times 8 or 24 weeks. Then that's the amount actually you have to fill in. Okay, the next situation, I think a lot of borrowers have that situation. You still pay $20 per hour, but you reduce their working hours from 40 hours to 25 hours per week. So actually, you don't have to calculate the reduction of the salary, but you have to calculate the FTE. So the FTE 40 hours was 25 hours, 0.7 or 0.5, depends on which method you choose. So you only count FTE. Okay. The last one, when you calculate the decrease of their salary, it's only in salary or wages. You don't have to calculate the benefit part. Now, actually, idle, what's the relations between idle and PPP loan? So as on today, actually, we haven't received the new guidelines, but I heard that actually this one will be eliminated. So this is a good news, actually. So SBA was required to reduce, the idle advance amount from your forgiveness amount. Okay, so now I heard that we don't know, we have to wait to see the final decision that actually will not be deducted from your forgiveness amount. So that's the good news that actually we look forward to. I know some of the borrowers already received the notice from your lenders about, they already reduce they reduce your forgiveness amount. So I think SBA will have a new procedure actually to make up that, even the refund. So just wait for the notice from your lender. Now we talk about the most frequently asked question to me. So if you they worry about if you reduce your employee's salary will affect your forgiveness. I already mentioned, okay, if more than 25% actually will will forget, actually will be affect your forgiveness amount, but especially it's on a per employee basis. So it's not the total amount of your employee, it's by individually. So later we will see the form. The second question, this is everybody's question. When is the deadline to apply for the forgiveness? This is the official answers. Actually, anytime on or before the maturity date of the loan. So means 2 years or 5 years. But you can apply anytime if you already use up your loan proceed. So I encourage you actually get ready and then wait maybe when the new procedures come out, maybe we'll have a new forms for some other borrowers for your PPP forgiveness. Okay, this is very important. You have to select your reference period. For FTE, actually comparison, they need you to have a reference period. You can choose, the one, okay, best for you from the following 3. Okay, so if you have reduction actually of your FTE, actually will affect your forgiveness amount. Unless you meet those exceptions that I mentioned before. There are 5 situations. You don't have to worry about that. Now, this is procedures apply for your PPP forgiveness. You should contact your PPP lender. Okay. Most of them actually have the forms or on their website. So ask them when or how to submit your application. Of course, you have to complete the correct form. So later I will explain, okay, please use the correct form. And you have to compile your documentation. I mentioned that very important, all the documentation actually you have to keep for 6 years. Then you submit your form and documentation to your PPP lender. After you submit it, actually you should continue to communicate with your lender. Wait for the final decision. Okay. So if you have PPP questions, you should contact your lender directly. There are 3 forms right now. We will go over that. The first one is 3508S, okay, small loan. So if you receive the PPP loan of 50,000 or less, you use this one, S form, okay. This is the only one, depends on your loan amount. Maybe we'll have some new form come out, so we have to wait. Then 3508 easy form. There are 3 situations that if you meet any one of them, you can use the easy form. If you cannot use S form, easy form, then you have to use the standard form, 3508. So this is a website that actually you can use. Okay, you can download your 3508S. Expiration date, of course, right now expanded. Okay. So here, just to let you know, the calculation is the responsibility of the borrower and the documentation too. So the S form I already mentioned, 50,000 or less. Easy form, if you are a self-employed and have no employees, or you didn't reduce any employee's salary more than 25%, and you didn't reduce the number of hours of their employees, okay. And the third one, you didn't reduce any salary or wages more than 25%, but because you comply with government's regulation, you don't need so many FTE. The last one, 3508, is if you cannot use S or easy form, then you have to use the standard form. So let's look at the S form first. S form only have 1 page, only for the loan amount 50,000 or less. Okay. If you have other business, together with all the affiliates, if you receive more than $2 million, you cannot use this form. Even one of your, affiliate business receive less than $50,000. So the first part is the loan information. So I encourage you take out your 2483 when you apply for PPP loan. Take out that form and all the information should be matching. Here you need two numbers, SBA PPP loan number and lender PPP loan number. You can get that actually on your application form. If you cannot find it, please ask your lender about the SBA PPP loan, then your loan amount, then the disbursement date, that's the first day of your cover period. Then the employees, when you applied for the loan, and the employees when you apply for the forgiveness. Then the idle advance amount. Okay, so I think this one right now doesn't matter. So you just provide that numbers for them. And then your application number. This one actually, if you cannot find, when you apply for idle, actually the computer online, right? So the computer assigned a number to you actually automatically. That's the number you need. So find that email actually that when you apply for the idle. And the last one will be your forgiveness amount. So actually for the loan less than $50,000, actually you still have to submit your application form. And also the good things for this form is that you don't have to verify your FTE reduction or your salary payment reduction. But most important things that actually is the self-certification. You have to initial each of them. So please read carefully each of them. You have to actually use the money cover at least 60% on the payroll cost. Okay, if you see the second one, you still have to meet that requirement. Okay, and initial each of them and then sign at the end. Okay, so I will send you this PowerPoint. If you see the left upper corner have that square, the golden square, that's the instruction, okay? All the instructions actually online, but I type up for you here for you, so you don't have to search each of them. Okay, so now this is very important, okay? These are the documents you need to submit with your form. So this is regarding your, payroll, okay? And this is for the non-payroll, all the documents you need to submit. Okay, so this list, actually, you don't have to submit to your lender, but you have to keep them with you for 6 years. After the date the loan is forgiven or repaid in full. So SBA and Department of Treasury already announced, okay, during the 6 years, they can come to do the auditing anytime. They can audit you anytime within 6 years. So please just get a folder or box, put everything together. Now we will talk about the standard form. Okay, standard form. Actually, some people feel the easy form will be easier, but actually some benefits actually if you fill out the standard form. So this is the website to download Certified OA and Certified Easy form. Okay, you should download those form and do the calculation. So here, this is the form. There are 5 pages. So page 1 and page 2 is calculation form. Page 3 is Schedule A. Page 4 is Schedule A worksheet. And the page 5 is optional. So demographic information. So when you submit your application form, you need to submit page 1, 2, 3. Page 4 and 5, you don't have to submit. You have to keep that with you. And when we do the calculation, actually, you have to do it reversely. We have to do page 4 first, then page 3, then page 1 and 2. Okay, we have to do that reversely. My suggestion is, just schedule maybe 1 week. So you will do page 4 first, 1 day, and then page 3, 1 day, and then page 1 and 2, 1 day. So 3 days. And then other 3 days, actually, you should compile all the documents. So just schedule maybe 1 week. Don't try to finish that within 1 day. That's stressful. Page 1. Okay, you can see, let's look at the bottom 5 items. Others actually are the same as the S form. So payroll schedule and cover period and alternative payroll cover period if applicable. Okay, I already mentioned only if you have the biweekly or weekly payroll cycle. If you get more than $2 million and more, you have to check here. They will send you the questionnaire. So the second half of the page 1, you can see there are 4 sections. The first section will be payroll and non-payroll cost. The second section is FTE and wage reduction. This section will affect your forgiveness amount. The third section is potential forgiveness amount, and finally will be your forgiveness amount. So actually, you will be the first person know your forgiveness amount. So let's look at the third section, line 8, 9, and 10. So there are 3 numbers actually. Number 8, you multiply lines 6 and 7. Okay, so you have to calculate 6 and 7 first. Then line 9 will be your loan amount. And line 10, you divide line 1 by 0.60. So you have to calculate line 1 first, then divide by 0.60. Some borrowers contact me because they multiply by 0.6. So that's the number will be very small. Okay, so actually you should divide that. So now let's look at, then you choose the smallest one. Okay, amount 8, 9, and 10. That will be your forgiveness amount. So now please look at line 1. Okay, you need this number. Payroll cost. They ask you to enter the amount from PPP Schedule A, line 10. Schedule A is on page 3. So we have to do the page 3 calculation and come back here. Okay. Okay, this is, okay, sorry. So this is, I already mentioned that. Now this is instruction. Okay. Now we go to page 2. This is self-certification. So please read carefully each of them. You need to initial your name, and sign at the end. So now we look at page 3. Okay, page 3, there are 4 sections too. I divide them by 2 colors. So please read, please look at line 10. Line 10 is payroll cost. So you will add the 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, the red color together. That's your total payroll cost. That's the number actually you will fill in page 1, line 1 that we just mentioned. And then green colors, line 2 and 5 actually, that you add them up for line 12. Okay, so please look at line 1. Enter cash compensation box 1 from PPP Schedule A worksheet table 1. That's page 4. Okay, on page 4, we will calculate box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then fill in here. Okay, so that's why I say you have to do it reversely. So this is 11, 12, and 13. So here have 1, 2, 3. There are 3 situations. If you can check any of that, actually you can skip 11 and 12. Just go to 13 directly. You fill in 1. 1 means 100%, means you can get 100% for your, for your forgiveness. But if 11, okay, so during your chosen reference period, so this is where I mentioned you can choose from the 3 situation be your reference period. Here, pretend that actually you have 10 FTE during your reference period. And then line 12 will be your during your cover period, your total average FTE. So we pretend 8.5. So line 13, this number is very important, will affect your forgiveness amount. So it's a FTE reduction quotient. So you divide line 12 by 11. So here is 0.85, means you only get 85% of your forgiveness. Okay, so you need this number for page 1, line 7. So this is the instruction. Okay, this is page 4. Okay, so page 4, there are 2 tables. So the first table is actually is for the employees work for you during your cover period, and they make less than $100,000 in 2019. So you make here. So page 4, you don't have to submit to your lender. So I suggest you just use a Excel spreadsheet because even if one borrower asked me, say, I have 300 employees. Do I have to list all the 300? The answer is yes. Okay. So the first row, first column will be employee's name. The second column will be their last 4 numbers of their social security number. The third row, the third column will be box 1. So you have to enter each of their cash compensation and then add them up. That's box 1. Then box 2 will be average FTE. So you have to fill in each of your employees, their FTE, you add them up. So there is one blank actually above the box 2, that's FTE reduction exceptions. So you have to put down how many exceptions. So even you reduce your number, but if meet those exceptions, actually you will be forgiven. The last one, box 3 for reduction. So here I mentioned that actually only if you reduce their salary or hourly wage more than 25%, you have to calculate those employees reduction and fill in here. The second table is for the employees make more than $100,000 in 2019. So here, box 4 is for the compensation and box 5 is for the FTE. But if you have any employees in this table make more than $100,000, but they are one of the exceptions, actually, you should count them. You should count them actually in table 1, okay, the exceptions. So this is all instruction here for you. Now we talk about the document you need to submit. This is all the payroll document. This is all the FTE document. This is all the non-payroll documents. This is the documents you have to keep with you for 6 years. This is optional. Okay. Now we talk about the easy form. The easy form, actually, they have a checklist. So there are 3 situations, actually. If you meet any of them, okay, so please read. I already mentioned before. The first one, if you are a self-employed individual, independent contractor, or sole proprietor, you have no employees when you apply for the PPP loan, and you didn't include any employee's salary when you calculate the average monthly payroll in the form. Actually, you can check this one. And then second one and third one, you didn't reduce any employees more than 25% or their hours, and because you comply with government's regulation, or you meet those 5 exceptions. Okay, then you can use the easy form. So here, this is the same as the standard form. The calculation is easy, okay? The payroll cost. Some borrowers ask me, if you use all your loans on payroll cost, do you need to submit other documents about your, other non-payroll costs? No, actually you don't. Okay, so if you use all your proceeds actually on payroll cost, you only fill in payroll cost and you don't have to submit all other documents. So this is the instructions for calculation. So this is the documents, okay, for your payroll. This is for non-payroll. This is for you to keep with you for 6 years, okay. Page 2 is self-certification, the same. Please read carefully. And this is for the demographic information is optional. Okay. Finally, actually, I want to provide you this information. If you have any questions about EIDL, you have to contact the SBA Disaster Center directly. We are the field office. We cannot help you with that. If you have PPP questions or problems, please contact your PPP lender, because some of the lenders actually, they have a little bit different policy, okay? And then if you need anything for your business, for future financing, you need one-on-one assistance, please contact our resource partner. We have 3 resource partners. You can find them here. And then there are 20 more slides actually. These are the 50 questions actually. FAQs actually, questions a lot of business or borrowers ask. So Department of Treasury and SBA put together the 50 questions. So I hope that actually I already answer most of your questions. If not, actually, please come to look at these questions and answers. If you still have questions, you can contact our resource partner. They will answer your question. Okay, so thank you very much, actually. And we are waiting for the new guidance actually for the second round of PPP loan. And also I remind you, apply for the EIDL loan now. Okay. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Man-Li.
We'll have time for the Q&A.
Yes, we do have some time for the Q&A. There is a lot of questions on the chat and also a few questions from Facebook Live. But thank you for all this information that you are bringing us today. I understand that you answered some questions that there are on the chat, but I will go with the first question will be, just one second.
I saw one here say for the new forgiveness application that maybe under 150K. Actually, I have to wait until the final guidance. Okay, we know that actually the proposal include that, but we have to wait for the final guidance from SBA.
Okay, and you can see this one. Well, it's a thank you, Man-Li. Definitely the expert. You are the expert, and we want to know everything about the PPP. It's a question for Garfinkel. We are a small business. We receive an EIDL grant. Do we have to offset against the PP loan we receive such that the amount won't be forgiven from PPP?
No, you don't have to do anything. Okay, so actually, as of today, actually, SBA was asked by Congress have to deduct that amount if you receive the idle advance from your forgiveness amount, but you don't do anything. So we heard that actually that was eliminated. So SBA will do something, either refund if you already received a notice from your lender about the deduction. So just wait for that.
Thank you. How long does have to apply for forgiveness after receipt of PP funds?
Okay, that's the question everybody asks. Okay, if you don't apply for the forgiveness, and just remember, your lender will have 60 days submit to SBA. SBA will have 90 days to do the final decision, right? So as long as you submit to your lender actually notified SBA, then if you didn't apply like 10 months after your cover period, then you have to start the payment. So actually nobody can tell you what's the best time, but good news right now, we know that actually your PPP expenses, those payroll expenses, you won't be deducted, for your IRS tax reform, because I know a lot of accountants advise borrowers say wait for the new year. Now it's in the new year, so you should I think you can don't have to rush in right now, but actually you will start repayment, okay, 10 months after the last day of your cover period. So don't wait to the last minute.
Thank you. How a company can file the PPP forgiveness loan application for self-employee 1099?
No, the application form actually I already on my actually on my slide, one of the slide actually you can download the form. Depends on you you receive less than $50,000, okay, or you can use the easy form. If you don't have any employees when you apply, you can use the easy form. So you can download the form actually on sbas.gov, or I was check the link. Actually, I will send that to you. One of the slide have the link.
Yes, it's important to remind the participants that Mrs. Man-Li will share some of the presentation, not the whole deck, because it's like, if you can see, it's close to 200 slides, but she will follow up with an email with you and with some of the highlights of the presentation. And also, this presentation has been is broadcast and it's been uploaded in our YouTube channel at the Queen's Chamber of Commerce. I have more questions here, Manli.
Okay.
It's talking about the cash compensation. That PP loan was used or just cash compensation in general? Since I used 24 weeks covered period, but ran out of funds prior to the end of the covered period.
Okay. Yeah. Cash compensation is during your 8 weeks or 24 weeks. Okay, so we know that some borrowers ask, say, if I use up the money at the 16th weeks, can I apply earlier? Yes, as long as you, as long as you already use up that, the loan proceed, you should apply. Okay.
Thank you. It's a question about slide 44 on your presentation. What happens if you rehire employees after their covered period? Can the payroll be added to the covered period, providing the company falls into the safe harbor?
Actually, we only calculate those payroll costs during your cover period. Or remember, incurred but paid before or on the next payroll period. Okay, so those compensation only calculate during your 8 weeks or 24 weeks.
One more question here. Will businesses that started operating after February 15, 2020 qualify for a PPP loan?
Okay, so this one we'll have to wait for the new new guidance, see actually what's the qualification. Okay, for the first term is you have to be opened before February 15. So we will see the second one.
There is a question here, it's kind of long question, it's from a restaurant owner. And the question is, we are a restaurant and received the PPP at end of April. Can we claim the entire 24 months as about half of that time included complete on-site work? We only have one employee, the owner. That person worked until about end of May, then rehire one person, then just one of the waiters. It's kind of long question.
Yeah, Jacqueline. I just want to let everybody know we are not allowed to provide specific advice. So, but our resource partner I mentioned, actually, we have 3 resource partner. Actually, they conduct one-on-one counseling because, like now, actually, I didn't see the details and I didn't see your document, so I cannot answer that question. Okay.
Very good. And there is another question here. For those loans are greater than $150,000 disbursed on April 21, 2020, since the forgiveness is not starting yet, how the 10 months requirement apply for this situation?
No, actually, if you receive more than $150,000, actually, you should use the form that actually certified OA, the standard form. And actually, we already start receiving a lot of PPP forgiveness actually from August. From August 10th, actually, SBA start receiving, I think, I don't know the exactly amount, how many cases right now, but a lot of people already received the forgiveness notice.
Very good. Man-Li, there are participants asking if you can repeat or share names and contacts of resources or community partners that they are working at this moment on these programs.
Jacqueline, is it possible you send me the list so I can send them the PowerPoint?
Of course. Yes.
I think that's important. Some of the slides, I don't have time to go through all the instruction, but actually I compile all those information for you. And I know that's very important and you don't remember all of them. So I will send you the PowerPoint as soon as Jacqueline send me the list. So if you register today or log in today by your email, you can receive that one. If you use telephone, then maybe you can send me an email that actually I can send you the PowerPoint. I know the information is very, very important for you.
Yes, Man-Li, definitely. And once again, thank you for this presentation. And we're going to follow up in a different ways. We are posting the full presentation, the video, in our Queens Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. That is number 1. And number 2 is I will share with you the list of participants in Zoom, some contacts that we already have on Facebook Live that they send the email, and also the list of the RSVP list that I had in Eventbank. That is the Queens Chamber of Commerce website where people register for this and they show interest to learn about all the changes, the upcoming, the second round of the PPP, and it's very important. I think that we have time for 2 more questions, Man-Li, but
Okay.
definitely we will share the information with you. And yes, let me go to the question is total SBA loan is combined with EIDL grant?
The SBA loan with
That if it's combined, you can combine it with the grant, the EIDL grant.
okay, EIDL, actually the grants, that's advance. The grants actually already ended. So we are waiting maybe for the next term. We don't know the new guidance where SBA have more advance, okay? But the other part is the loan. So I mentioned actually everybody should apply for the idle loan if you haven't applied yet.
Thank you. And Man-Li, definitely we are waiting for the new guidance from SBA. Then we are more than happy to schedule to pencil a new presentation next week. If you wish, just tell us what will be a convenient day for you, and we will send the invite and registration invite for all the participants in this event. Any final remarks, Man-Li, before you go?
No, I would like to thank Queen's Chamber of Commerce, Jacqueline, working with me. We are here to help everybody to go through these difficult times. Just so you need any help, please let us know. Thank you so much.